This conference will now be recorded.
So in the previous session, we have discussed about if conditional statement, and we have discussed what exactly the if conditional statement and what is the use, what are the various formats of if conditional statements that we have, and how to use each and every format and when to use which format we have discussed in the previous sessions. Now, so let's see the one more conditional statement, that is switch. Let's see the switch statement. So what exactly the switch statement and what is the use? How can we use this switch statement in order to compare a variable value or an expression value with the multiple branches? We'll see one by one. Simply in one sentence, I can say switch statement exactly is similar to your else if condition. Your else if condition and the switch statement both are almost similar. Syntactically, they will be different. Internal execution wise, they will be different. But functionality wise, both are same. Now, let's see. So now in this case, when you go to that else if condition, what we did, we are going to be comparing a variable value with the multiple elements. Okay, with the multiple values we are comparing here. The variable is same. Okay, the variable is same, but we are comparing the variable value with the various values so that we can able to execute the corresponding block of statements. Like the similar way, as part of your switch statement also, switch statement is used to compare a variable value or an expression value with the various branches. We can compare a variable value or an expression value with the various branches. Suppose if the variable value is matching with any of the branch value, then the corresponding branch statements will be executed. Like in else if condition, if the variable value is matching with any of the condition, it will execute the corresponding block of statements. Like the similar fashion, here we are preparing the various branches. So if the variable value is matching with any of the branch value, the corresponding branch statements will be getting executed. Suppose if the variable value is not matching with all the branches, then by default it will be executing else block statements. We have an else block also, that means a default block, that else block statements also will be executed, okay, if any of the branch value is not matching. Now, so in this case, how to prepare switch statement? Okay, now let's see. So now basically, switch statement has been introduced by Apex Programming as part of your Winter 18 release. From 2018 Winter release onwards, we are having switch statement in Apex Programming. But for the first 18 years of time, 2000 to 2018, we don't have any switch statement in Apex Programming. We have only if condition and ternary operator. These are the two conditional statements were available at that time for 18 years of time. From Winter 18 release onwards, Salesforce introduced switch statement as part of our conditional statements in Apex programming language. Now, as part of this switch statement, how it look like and how can we use? Okay, let's see. In switch statement, we have two formats are available here. We have two formats again internally. So now how can we compare the variable value with a single element and how to compare a variable value with collection of elements? Both the scenarios will come into the picture. We'll see both the scenarios with the two different examples. How to compare a variable value with a single element, how to compare a variable value with the collection of elements. Both the scenarios will see with the different examples. Then how this syntax will look like, how it works, Now let me explain the execution flow. Then we will see how to use it to implement the functionalities. Okay. Now, then I will show you how it is different from else if condition also. I will compare both side by side. Now, make a note of this one. Switch statement. Switch statement is used to compare a variable value or an expression value with the various branch values. If any of the variable value, if any of the branch value is matching with the variable value, then it will execute the associated branch statements. If the variable value is not matching with all the branches, then it will execute the else block statements. Now, so switch statement has been introduced by Salesforce as part of Winter 18 release. As part of Winter 18 release. Now the syntax. We can specify switch on variable name or expression. Here we can compare the variable value or expression value with the various branches. So we can specify when value 1. That means this is the first branch. If the variable value is matching with this value 1, then it will execute this block of statements. When value 2. If the variable value is matching with the value 2, then execute this block of statements. Like that, we can specify when null. We can compare with null also. The last block is when else. That means else block statement. That means a default block statements. Then up to this part. Done with the syntax. Now, let's see how it works. So now let's see how it works. What is the execution mechanism? So we are using this as switch statement. Switch on variable name. So that means whatever the variable value you would like to compare, we have to specify the variable name here. Or else, if you are getting this value by using any of the expression, then we can use that expression or formula, whatever it might be here. Expression means formula. Now, so now in this case, I would like to take this variable value. What are the value that we have inside the variable? Now I want to compare this variable value with the various branches. This is the first branch, this is the second branch, this is the third branch, like that n number of branches we can able to add. Suppose if all the branch values are not matching, then to execute that, okay, default block we have to write else block. Now, so now in this case here, let's see. We have to compare this variable value with the various branches. Now in this case. So whatever the variable value that we have, it will be comparing with this value one. Automatically. We no need to prepare the condition. Generally, we are preparing some conditions in Apex programming. If the variable value equals to, we are indicating a value here to compare. But here we no need to write any such kind of condition. Those conditions will be preparing by switch statement internally by default. That is a default behavior of switch statement. It will compare this variable value with the first branch value here. Suppose if this value is exactly matching, it will enter into the block, it will execute the statements whatever we have written. Whatever the statements you have written, those statements will be getting executed. Once it is done with executing these statements, then it will come out of this complete switch statement. It won't check the remaining branches. It won't check any remaining branches here. Because at a time only one branch statements will be executed here, not multiple. Like as your else if condition here also same. Now, suppose for example, come to a second scenario. We are comparing this variable value with the value one. That means with the first branch value. Suppose these two are not matching here. Then it will compare with that okay value 2. Suppose if it is matching, then immediately it will enter into the block. It will execute the statements whatever we have written over here. Then once the statements are executed, it will come out of the complete switch statement automatically. This is the second case. Third case, for example, it is comparing this variable value with the first branch value. Suppose these two are not matching. Then it will compare with the second branch value. This is also not matching. It will compare with the third branch value. This is also not matching here. Then finally, it will enter into the block, automatically else block. It will execute the statements, whatever we have written. If all the branch values are not matching, finally it will execute else block statements here. Okay. Only one branch statements will be executed always. Now, so in this case here, where we can use this kind of functionalities. For example, come to a small scenario. Assume that I'm using Amazon. Today, I want to buy a product. Okay, I want to buy a product through Amazon. So now they're offering so many discounts over here. For example, they're offering some discounts on the product, some 1 plus 11G product here. 1 plus 11. Now this is a product here. For example, I want to buy this product. Now I'm selecting this product now. Now click on buy now. Now it is asking you to select the delivery address here. Okay, I would like to use my delivery address over here. Now, so once the delivery address has been selected, now we have to select the payment method. Now here multiple payment methods are available. I can use my Kotak Bank debit card also. I can use my Kotak Bank Axis Bank credit card also. I can use my Axis Bank credit card, another credit card also. Multiple options. Or else I can add some debit cards also. I can use a net banking also. Other UPI apps also. So many options are available here. Now EMI facilities also. So now tell me in this case, whenever I'm going to be selecting this payment method, how many payment methods can I select at a time? One. Can't we make half of the payment through debit card, half of the payment through credit card? No. The whole payment we have to make through by using one single channel itself. It may be debit card or credit card or net banking or EMI facilities. It may be UPI apps, whatever it might be. Only one option we can choose. So in that case here, depends upon the option which you have selected, corresponding features will be executed. So now in this case here, even though we are having some collection of branches, only one branch statements will be executed at a time. So now these are the radio buttons. Whatever the radio buttons we have right now in our user interfaces, radio buttons functionalities are purely implemented with the help of switch statement and else if conditions. Okay. So now depends upon the option. Like here we have to select the payment method. When the payment method is equals to credit card, use these options here. Debit card, use these options. EMIs, use this option. Or UPI apps, use this option. Like that here we'll be having multiple options. Depends upon the option which we have choose, the corresponding statements will be executed here. Now, so that radio buttons are purely implemented based on else if and switch statement. The checkboxes will be implemented based on normal if else condition, if else. Because here checkbox may be selected, may not be selected. So there we can select the multiple checkboxes, but radio buttons we can select only one option. Whenever we are selecting the second option, previous option will be deselected automatically in radio buttons. Okay, that is a functionality. Let's see. So these are the radio buttons. If I'm selecting the first, second, third one, the previous one will be getting deselected automatically over here. If I'm selecting net banking, the credit card option will be deselected. So in this case here, only one we can select. If it is a pro checkboxes, we can select multiple. Okay. Now, upon selecting the products, we can go with checkboxes. Upon selecting payment methods, we can go with radio buttons. Okay, both are different. Checkbox functionalities are purely if else condition. If the checkbox is selected, product will be adding into your bill. If the checkbox is not selected, product will not be including into your bill here because we haven't selected the product here. So we don't want to buy that. But when coming to the radio button functionalities are purely implemented based on else if condition or switch statement here. Okay. Now let's see. So now here in this case, now how can we implement this functionality? Now let's see with the practical use case. Let's take a small use case now. Take a small use case. Write an Apex program to print the weekday name based on the weekday number as below. Write an Apex program to print the weekday name based on the weekday number as below. So now in our real world, we are having the weeks. In each week, we are having 7 days. Okay, we have 7 days in a week, like from Monday to Sunday. For each weekday, okay, for each weekday, I would like to allocate a number, like as Monday 1, Tuesday 2, Wednesday 3, like that I would like to allocate. Whenever I'm passing that number, automatically it has to represent the weekday name. Based on the weekday number, it has to represent the weekday name to me here. Then how can we do that? Okay, now let's see. Weekday number, weekday name. Now 1, Monday, 2, Tuesday, 3, Wednesday. Like that, we are having 7. Suppose if you are passing the value less than 1 or greater than 7, it should show the message invalid weekday number. This is my requirement. So based on the weekday number which I have supplied at runtime, it has to print the corresponding weekday name. Done with this? Now let's see how can we implement this functionality. Now let me go to my Salesforce org. I'm going to the developer console. Now I'm going to the execute anonymous window. I would like to write the piece of code. Now tell me how many variables that we have to define to implement this functionality. One variable. That will be of type what? Integer. Why integer? We are passing weekday number. Weekday number is 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So it's purely integer value. So I'm defining one integer variable. Weekday number, I'm passing the value some 4. I don't know what exactly this for. Is it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday? I don't know. My program has to decide. So I'm using this switch statement. Switch and we can specify that variable name. Which variable value you want to compare with the various branches? Give the variable name here. Weekday number. Switch on weekday number. So whatever the weekday number variable that we have, this variable value I would like to collect, I want to compare with the various branches. When 1, that means if the weekday number value is equals to 1, then I would like to write the statement. System dot debug, this is Monday. When 2, that means if the variable value is equals to 2, then I would like to specify system dot debug, this is Tuesday. When 3, I want to indicate this is Wednesday. When 4, then system dot debug, this is Thursday. When 5, system dot debug, this is Friday. When 6, system dot debug, this is Saturday. When 7, system dot debug, this is Sunday. When else, that means if the variable value is okay not matching with any one of these 7 values, then I would like to show the message system dot debug invalid weekday number. Please enter the value between 1 to 7. I would like to represent the message here. So whatever the variable value that we have, I would like to compare this variable value with the various branches here. So now in this case, it will compare automatically here. Okay, weekday number value is what? 4. Now it will compare automatically. If a 4 is equals to 1, condition is matching here? Yes or no? No. Then it will go with that second branch. 4 is equals to 2? No. It will compare. 4 equals to 3. Is the condition is matching? No. 4 is equals to 4. Condition is matching. So it will enter into the block. It will execute the statements over here. That's it. Okay. Now, so now in this case, you can raise a question, sir. Here you are writing only one statement here inside the block. Is it mandatory to specify the block over here? That means a brace, curly braces. Yes, compulsorily we have to specify curly braces in switch statement. In if condition, if you are executing only one line of code, then curly braces is not mandatory. If more than one line, then we have to define the block. But as part of switch statement, even though you are writing one line of code, multiple lines of code, braces is compulsorily we have to write. Okay. Now, this is the principle. Now, in this case, you can raise a question, sir, why you are going with a switch statement? Why can't we write the same program through else if condition in Apex programming? Yes, we can write. Let me show you how it will look like. Now, let me go with that. The same code I would like to write by using a normal notepad here. Okay, by using else if condition. How it look like, let me show you. So you will get some clarity between these two. Now, I'm defining the variable. Integer weekday number equals to some 4. I'm checking the condition here. If weekday number value equals to 1. Then we have to write the statement here. System dot debug. This is Monday. Next one, else if weekday number value is equals to 2. Then we are writing the statement. System dot debug. This is Tuesday. Like the similar way, we have to write the remaining formats also. Now, if it is equals to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, here we are writing this else part. Now, here we would like to write Wednesday. Now, here we are specifying invalid month number. There is a notepad here. There is a format. So now tell me in this case, what is the difference you have observed between these two? Else if condition in switch statement. Braces, okay, forget about the braces. Now, accept that.
For every else if statement, we need to write the we need to assign the number as well as the value, right?
Now, right. In this case, let's see. In if condition, okay, every time we are preparing the condition. Weekday number equals to 1, weekday number equals to 2, weekday number equals to 3, 4. Okay, we are farming this condition every time. Now tell me, have you prepared any conditions in switch statement here? No. Just we have given variable name, which variable value you want to compare with which value you want to compare. That's it. It will be preparing that condition automatically by switch statement. That is the first benefit. Okay, the first benefit is as part of switch statement, we no need to prepare the conditions manually by our own. Those conditions will be preparing by switch statement internally by default. Okay, this is the first one. Second one here, when compared with the number of characters here, which is having more number of characters here? Else if condition. Else if condition is having more number of characters because every time we're preparing condition, first condition, second condition, third condition, we're preparing conditions which will take some more characters. If the number of characters are more, compilation time will be increased. Execution time will be getting increased. So it will be impacting on your application performance. This is the second problem here. So as part of this switch statement, we no need to farm the condition manually. We have to just specify the variable name and with which value you want to compare. Condition will be preparing with switch statement internally by default here. Okay, this is a major advantage. So in a switch statement, number of characters are less. Automatically, we can reduce the compilation time, we can reduce the execution time, and we can increase our application performance as well. For that reason, whenever if you want to prepare this kind of conditions, instead of using this else if, we can go with the help of switch statement here. Okay, clear? Now, next, one more point let me tell you here. Suppose here we are comparing with some string values over here. Okay, we are comparing with some string values here. Now I want to compare with exact matching. That means binary comparison I would like to use. Here what we have to do, dot equals a method. Here we have to specify that value. Okay. So because whenever if I'm using double equals, it will use what type of comparison? Text comparison. To use binary comparison, what we have equals a method. So we have to use variable name dot equals of value. That means here this is a normal integer variable. I'm talking about string values over here. Suppose if you want to compare with a string value, okay, with a binary comparison, then we have to use equals function. But in this case, we no need to use any okay equals a function. Simply we can specify that string value one, string one, because internally switch statement will use a binary comparison automatically. If it is a string values, then it will use binary comparison. But in if condition, what we have to do, we have to use equals a function, especially here. This is the second problem as part of okay if conditional statement. Okay, because when you go to that, okay, whenever we are using this okay switch statement will be comparing the values with a binary comparison. When if it is a string values, okay, if it is a numerical, no uppercase no lowercase, numerical values are same, so it will use that direct comparison for numerical. If the values are of type string, then it will use binary comparison internally by default. No text comparison over here in switch statement. Okay, clear now? Understood the concept here? Now click on execute. Now let's see the result. Select the debug only. Now it is indicating this is Thursday. Because we have given the value as weekday number as 4, it is indicating weekday number 4 means it's a Thursday. Suppose I'm passing this value as some 7. Click on execute. Select the debug only. See the result. So this is Sunday. Suppose I'm passing the value some 11. Do we have any weekday number 11? No, we have from 1 to 7 only, Monday to Saturday. Select the debug only checkbox. Now it is indicating invalid weekday number. Please enter the value between 1 to 7. Clear? So this is how we can use switch statement. Now, if anybody is aware of programming, like as a C programming, C++, Java, C sharp, anything, there, upon writing this switch statement, syntax is completely different. Here, as part of Apex programming, syntax is different. There, in normal other programming languages, for switch statement, we have to use a break statement. That means to end of this execution of this block. Okay, break statement is used to break this particular okay execution mechanism, stop the execution mechanism here. So move outside of the complete switch statement. But in Apex programming, you no need to write any break statement, that will be taken care by Salesforce automatically here. This is a benefit. Okay, now make a note of this code.
Hi, Firoz.
Yes.
Do we have the facility to compile line by line to see, put a breakpoint and compile it?
No, 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 no. Here we don't have, because generally when you go to the other programming languages, they're having their own editors. It may be C also, C++. You will be having Turbo, C or C++ editors. For Java, they have a separate editor. For .NET, they have a separate editor to debug that code like a line by line by placing a breakpoint. But in Salesforce, we don't have any such kind of breakpoint options, because we don't have a local editor. We are having purely a cloud-based functionality, so we don't have the option to add a breakpoint. If you are facing any issue, just you can able to add a system.debug statement here, and then through that one only we can track. But we can't track line by line code.
Okay, thank you. But if we write the same code in Visual Studio Code, there we have the
Mhm.
facility to debug it, right? Or it
Right,
won't work
right.
there as
There we can able to debug that code, but not Apex programming. JavaScript code we can debug over there.
well. Okay. Mm, okay.
Firoz, like
Done with this
just one
code?
question.
You tell me.
Hello. Yeah, Firoz, can you hear me?
You tell me. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Tell
So
me.
now, when we write these codes, right? I mean, this development. So that movement will be like through TR only, right? From dev to QA, and
Sorry.
like suppose when we develop some code, right, in the development system. So the
Mhm.
movement of code from the development to QA and then to prod, it will be through TRs only, right? Transports.
Now, in that case, we have to do that. Okay, manual deployments. Okay, manually we have to deploy. For that one, we have deployment mechanism, and we can use some tools also. You are having that so many options. So GitHub also, we can use TFS also. We can use that various version controlling tools also. We can use with the help of those tools, we can deploy that code. Okay.
Okay, normal. That means when you write a piece of code and when you save it, right? So that means
Hmm. It won't deploy
is
directly.
it
It won't deploy
it won't?
directly because there will be some
Yeah.
deployment windows will be available here. During that time only we can deploy.
Mm,
Okay.
Okay.
Now, it may be any programming language also. The moment you are writing the code, when you click on save, it won't deploy to your sandboxes because to your production directly it won't deploy. We have to deploy that code to the production. Once all the developers code is done, you will be having some release dates will be available. During that release dates, we'll be having the deployments.
Yeah, yeah, correct. So that means usually when somewhere when you try to piece of code, right, when you try to save it, right, it asks for a transport number where that all the code that we have written will be saved. And once depending
Hmm.
upon the release cycle, when the transport is released, it will move further to the dev system and from
Right,
there to the
right.
prod.
QA.
So
From
the
that, they
same
will be moving to the
mechanism
QA
with
and other environments.
testing and then to the prod finally. So the
Right.
same thing over in even Salesforce also. Like,
Yes, yes, yes. Also, there also you can use. At that time, we have to use Visual Studio Code Editor. From there, you have to maintain your own version controlling tools. Through the tools, you can able to do the deployment by using CI/CD options.
mhm.
Okay. Now,
But
let's see the next one.
going forward, we'll have at least one person, right? Feels like where the practically how they are following in the projects. The
Sure, sure. We'll be having that because I will be showing that environments and then how can we build the environments like as a dev environment, QA, UAT, stage, production. All these processes I will explain and I will be showing with a live example as well.
okay, okay. Because already if a piece of code is existing for an existing functionality, so if you want to fix a from bug in that existing program, so we should be knowing what is being written in the backend and how can we
Right,
even access that.
right. We'll see that part.
Okay, thanks.
The next use case. So now I would like to write a piece of code through switch statement in order to print the season name based on month numbers. So as of now, we are comparing with a single value. In each branch, we have only one value, like as when one, when two, when three, with only one value, we are comparing. Do we have any possibility to compare with multiple values? If yes, how? Let's see with the practical. Now, done with this? Now tell me how can we write this piece of code now? Whenever I'm passing a month number, based on the month number, I want to represent the corresponding season name. Now tell me how can we write this code by using that switch statement. With if condition already we are done. Now I want to use switch statement. How can we write this piece of code? How can we compare this kind of range conditions? 1 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12. There are some ranges are available. How to prepare range conditions? Switch statement doesn't support to write range conditions. Okay. Please remember the point. That's what I'm giving this example. In if condition, we can specify if the value is greater than or equals to 1 and less than or equals to 4, we can write that conditions. But in switch statement, we can't write such kind of conditions. We don't have any range conditions in switch statement. Then in that case, how can we compare with the multiple? That means if the month number value is either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, then I want to show that season name as winter season. Then how can we compare the variable value with the multiple elements at a time? Now let me show you with the practical. So now tell me for this use case, how many variables we need to define? Only one. That will be of type numerical because to store month number value. Month number values are between 1 to 12 because we are having 12 months in a financial year. Now let's see. I'm defining a variable. Integer month number. I'm giving the value some 7. I don't know this is 7 month comes under which season, I don't know. It maybe comes under winter season, spring season, summer season, I don't know. My program has to decide. So I'm indicating that switch statement, switch on month number, switch on month number. So please take this month number value as input, compare with the various branch values. So now here I'm indicating. Now when 1. That means if the month number value is 1 here, then what we can do? What is the season name? System dot debug. This is winter season. Then what about 2? If the month number is equals to 2, then what about this one? Winter season, same. So system dot debug. This is winter season. When 3, I'm indicating system dot debug. This is winter season. When 4, I want to show the message. This is winter season. That means if the month number value is 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, in all the cases, this will be comes under winter season only here. Now tell me in this case, here only the month number is different. Now tell me, whatever the code we have written inside the block, these statements are same, right? Statements are same, right? Logic is same. So in that case, what happened? It's a duplicate code. It's a redundant code. We have written same code I have written multiple times. Of course, my program is very simple functionality. So that's what I have written only one line of code inside that block. When you're moving forward, if I'm writing for a complex project, then we have to write some hundreds of lines of code in each block. At that time, if I'm copy and pasting that same hundreds of lines of code multiple times, will it occupy more characters, right? It will take more time for compilation. It will take more time for execution. Will it be impacting our application performance or not? Yes. Now, in that case, whenever if you want to compare these values, then not only comparing with a single value, we can compare with multiple values also. That means if the month number value is either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, I want to execute the same statement, that is winter season. So that here just we can compare. We can specify 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4. But we can't specify 1 to 4. We can't specify here. Okay, we can't specify. Whenever I'm writing like this here, it will show the error message. Okay, now. So now here in this case here, now we have to specify when either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. That means here we can specify the numbers by comparing, by separating a comma here. Now in that case, you can raise a question, sir, suppose I'm having the ranges like as 1 to 100, 101 to 200, 201 to 300. In that case, what we can write? Will you write 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4 up to 100? No. It will take more characters. At that time, if you are having some long range conditions are available, then go with the help of if conditional statement. You can go with if conditional statement. If you're having very short range, then come to the switch statement, because switch statement won't support any range conditions. We can't specify the range values or the range conditions in switch statement. That is the limitation here. Okay. If you need any range conditions, go with that if conditional statement. If it is a very small range, we can go with the switch. No problem. Now in this case, I'm indicating if the month number value equals to either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, it will be or 6 or 7 or 8. If the month number value is either 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, I would like to indicate this is a summer season. If the month number value is either 9, 10, 11, 12, then I want to show the message it's a spring season. If the month number value is any okay other than this value, I would like to show invalid month number. Invalid month number, please enter the value between 1 to 12. Okay. Now, this is the way. This is the second syntax of switch statement. Not only comparing the expression or variable value with only one value, we can compare with the multiple values also, depends upon your application requirement, but we can't specify any range conditions. But we can't specify with range conditions. Here, please remember the point. If you are having the range, then go with that if condition. If there is no range, then come to that switch statement here. Okay? Now let me execute it. I'm giving this month number value as 7. 7 will be comes under second range, so it will be indicating summer season. Click on execute. Select the debug only. Now it is indicating this is summer season. Suppose I'm giving the value as some 12. Click on execute. Select the debug only. It is indicating the message this is spring season. If I'm giving the value some 13, now it will show the message invalid month number. Okay. So depends upon the value which we have supplied, it will be representing the messages over here. Clear? Now write the code here. This is the concept of switch statement in Apex programming. Done with this? Now, so these are the two important conditional statements that we have in Apex programming. Okay? Now, next one. Iterative statements. Ternary operator later. Okay? No, don't worry. No. Iterative statement. So now tell me, what do you mean by iterative? Iterative process means what? Repeated process or continuously here. Now, so in this case, let's see. Suppose, for example, I want to print welcome message onto my debug log file. I want to print welcome message onto the debug log file only once. Then how can we print the message? By using system.debug statement. So we can use system.debug welcome to Apex programming. Okay, system.debug welcome to Apex programming. We are writing this piece of code. Whenever I'm writing this piece of code, this code will be printing this message, okay, onto my debug log file. How many times? Only once, right? It will print this message onto my debug log file only once. Okay. In order to print this message on my debug log file, I have written system.debug statement here, which will print the message only once on my debug log file. Suppose I want to print the same message 2 times on my debug log file. What can I do? Generally, forget about iterative statement concept here. Now we have to write the same statement one more time. To print that message 2 times on the debug log file, we are writing this as system.debug statement 2 times over here. Now the second statement will print the same message one more time. Now, first statement will be printing that message once, second statement will print the message one more time. Suppose, for example, I want to print the same message 5 times here. What can I do? The same system.debug statement we have to write 5 times here. Now, this is the third time. This is the fourth time. This is the fifth time here. Now, so now in this case here, now each statement will be printing only once. So third statement will be printing third time. Fourth statement will be printing that fourth time here. Fifth statement will print the message fifth time. Now, in this case here, let's see. Now the first system.debug statement will be printing once. Second system.debug statement will print to second time. Third statement will print the third time. Fourth statement will print the fourth time. And the fifth statement will print the fifth time here. Okay, now. So now just to print this message 5 times, I have written 5 times system.debug statement. Suppose if you want to print 100 times, will you write system.debug 100 times? No, I don't want to write. If I am writing this statement these many number of times, then the statement will be keep on repeating. The same code we are keep on repeating. We are making that code repeated. It's a duplicate code. It's a redundant code, which will impact on my application performance. In this case, what I want to do is, instead of writing this same code again and again and again, I want to write the code only once. I want to write the code only once. Whatever the statement that we need, I would like to write the code only once. Once the code has been getting prepared, the same code I would like to execute repeatedly till the required number of times. I want to execute this piece of code repeatedly till the required number of times. Now, repeatedly, I want to execute that same code. I'm writing only one so that we can make our code generic. We can make our code unique. Only one time we can write, and repeatedly we can execute the code till the required number of times. It may be one time, it may be two times, it may be 5 times, or 100 times, 1,000 times, 1 lakh times, whatever you want, it's your choice. Depends upon your application requirements, how many times you want to execute that code, we can write that block over here. In this case, if you want to execute a piece of code repeatedly till the required number of times, then we are using the help of iterative statements. Instead of writing that same code again and again and again, we can write the code only once and we can execute the code repeatedly till the required number of times. So that we can make our code generic, we can make our code unique, so that we can avoid the duplicate code and we can improve our application performance as well. So for that reason, we are using the help of iterative statements as part of your Apex programming. Then what iterative statements that we have in Apex programming? Apex provides four iterative statements. Apex provides four iterative statements. The first one, while iterative statement. Second one, do while iterative statement. Third one, for iterative statement. And the fourth one, enhanced for iterative statement. Enhanced for. When you go to some other programming languages like as Java or .NET, this is also called as for each statement. Okay, for each statement in Java and .NET. Okay, if anybody is familiar with Java or .NET programming, they can understand very easily here. These are the four iterative statements are available: while, do while, for, and the enhanced for. These are the four iterative statements are available in Apex programming, which are used to execute a piece of code repeatedly till the required number of times. Okay, clear? Now, make a note of this one: iterative statements. Iterative statements are used to execute a block of statements repeatedly till the required number of times based on the need. That is, we can write the code once and execute the code multiple times. Now, by using iterative statements, we can avoid the redundant code and we can make the code generic. And we can make the code generic so that we can improve the application performance. So that we can improve the application performance. Apex provides the below four iterative statements. First one, while. Second one, do while. Third one, for. Fourth one, enhanced for. These are the four iterative statements are available in Apex programming. Done? Now, then how to use these iterative statements? We'll see, okay, on Monday session one by one here. Okay. So on Monday, we'll see the practical examples of while and the do while, for, and the enhanced for loop over here. Okay. Now, so do the practice on the features. Okay, till now what we have discussed. From Monday, we'll see that iterative statements, and then we have a feature called as arrays. After that, we'll be entering into object-oriented programming. Then we'll see what is class, what is object, what is procedure, what is function. Everything we'll see one by one. Okay, this weekend we don't have the sessions over here. Okay, next weekend we'll be planning for the session. I will be combining the batches as well. Okay, now next session will be on Monday morning at same timings.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks for your time. Let's meet on Monday again at same time.